Okay, I'm gonna read. If you guys want, I can read some creepy pasta for you guys. That's what you guys want. I'll do it. I'm gonna read some creepy pasta for you guys. So come stay tuned. I'm gonna read some creepy pasta for you guys. Comment below what you guys want me to do first. Read first some creepy pasta. Could you? Tess stood at the mirror, applying her eyeliner. It was Saturday night, although she didn't officially have any plans. She would get a call inviting her to go outside. She stepped away from the mirror, suddenly evaluating her work. She'd never been good at applying makeup. She wasn't even sure why. Both her mother and her aunt routinely wore stuff. She must have picked up some of their fitness. I guess so. You're going for that whole raccoon look. You've got this down, she murmured as she gazed at her reflection. She was getting ready to lean closer to the mirror once more in a futile attempt to fix the mess she'd made when her finally phone suddenly call. Hello? She asked hi. After all, she didn't be here in the It was Kelly, and Tessa didn't know whether to be happy or leery. Kelly, she had a reputation as a manipulator, mostly because she was a master when it came to classic bait and switch tactic. She was the sort of girl who would invite you out and pay for iced tea at the first restaurant, but then ask you to cover her shift at the church garage sale the night before the event. She'd call you and ask you to see a movie and even pay for your ticket, but then turn around and ask you to drop off one of her friends, conveniently forgetting. What was it? Forgetting to mention that this house was nearly an hour away. In short, Tess had reached to the point where she'd almost prefer to say no all of Tess' invitations because she didn't want to deal with all the strings attached. What's up? Tess began trying to keep her voice neutral. What you doing? Kelly inquired in a singing voice. Putting on my makeup? Tess answered cautiously. She certainly. Oh my god. Fucking internet. She didn't want to come right out and admit that she had nothing going on. Oh, so you have plans? And Tess knew it was a loaded question. Kelly was either going to suggest for them to do something together, or she was going to try to unload some responsibility. It was always a roll of dice. Kinda. And she said, well, what you doing? Why do you want to know? Why are you being so secretive? And she said, because I'm talking to you. Oh, come on, I'm not that bad, am I? Tess tried not to feel like she had not been. What you're up to? What do you want to do? Tess asked, trying to cut up the chase. There was a long pause. Here it comes, thought Tess. Here comes ridiculously intense of request. Tess often wonderfully suffered from some emotional disorder that made it impossible for her to feel any empathy for others. How else could she explain Kelly's complete lack of common or decency or tact? Kelly thought of nothing asking someone to pick up one of her cousins from the airport within hours of their scheduled arrival time, or she'd ask to borrow clothing that still bore the tags and return them. Then she'd ask to borrow something else. She always seemed confused as to why she was refused. Tess couldn't imagine being so clueless, and again she was the sort of person who wrung her hands if she had to ask someone to borrow $10. Why do you always assume I want something? So you're not calling to ask me anything? There was another long pause. Kelly had planned to use her foolproof tactic, but Tess had gotten wise to it now. Now she frantically scrambling around for some way to back herself out of the corner, but there is no way to do anything without admitting that Tess had been right about her. Look, Kelly sighed, deciding honestly was probably best under her circumstances. I kinda told these people I watched their kid tonight, but then Mario called me and asked me if I wanted to go see a movie. You know how long I've liked him. She paused. I'm just afraid if I say no, he'll get the wrong idea. He's gotta work tomorrow besides. Going out on Saturday night is lame, you know it. Why don't you just tell him you have to babysit and ask him if you guys can go out tomorrow? Well, I don't know what to tell you. Tess answered unmoved. She covered for Kelly so many times about compensation that she was able to face a guilt trip without difficulty. I guess you're just gonna have to figure something out. Come on, please. I'm begging you. I can't ask anybody else. Everyone already has plans. How do you know I don't? Because if you did, you would have just told me. The fact that you had said it all. Alright. Tess became determined to get something out of the arrangement. What's in it for me? Well, supposedly the guy loaded. They're friends of my dad's from the office. He and his wife had some benefit to go to. I guess he's just got one little girl. She's like 5, so she can go to the bathroom on her own and stuff. And I bet he'll even probably tip you. You could make serious bank. For how long? Tess asked, growing more intrigued by the proposition in spite of reticence. Just until midnight, Kelly answered plainly. So what, 5 hours? The shift starts at 7. Well, lasted less than 2 hours, Tess whined, and these people don't even know me. They probably only asked you because they know your dad. They're not gonna go for this. What about your dad? He's gonna be ticked that you pawned this off on someone else. I'm gonna call them, Tess. She sighed. Jesus, not that big of a deal. It's their only child. And they're loaded. Their whole world probably revolves around this kid. I don't even think they're gonna go for it. Wait, just let me take care of it, she answered decisively. Tess knew Kelly would probably figure some way to hoodwink the couple into accepting her terms. Okay, Tess replied, rolling her eyes. But you'll do it? That depends. You never did answer my question. What question? You would need to babysit one kid in a mission for good pay. That's not enough for me. If it's so great, then why are you on the phone right now begging me to do it for you, huh? And don't say Mario, cause we both know darn well if this kid was awesome, as you say it is, you'd make up excuse so you could still do it. Face it, Kelly, it's not all that. Fine. What do you want? You haven't paid me back $30 you owe me. Plus you ruined my new t-shirt. There's another $20. If you want me to do this job for you, I want you to switch in the next 20 minutes of my $50. If you don't want to do that, then I'd suggest you make other plans with Mario. That's totally ridiculous, and you know that. I mean, driving your pal, Greg, clear out to Harrisburg Junction after the movies last month. Kinda like that. You act like it was my fault. I don't care whose fault it was. I just know it wasn't my responsibility. 20 minutes. She knew Tess had her where she wanted her. She asked a lot of her. She'd given back nothing in return. She didn't really have a leg to stand on, but $20 was all the money she had in the world at the moment. And it wasn't as though she could ask her parents to borrow any. If she went to either of them, they'd tell her that they didn't know she was hoisting on someone else. What a mess. Well, I only have $20. I swear I was planning to bring that tonight so I could eat, but you can have it. Don't even try to make me feel guilty. You've had months to pay this back. Just think of all the times you came into school wearing new clothes and I never said a word to you about it. Alright. I'll drop off the $20. And what about the rest? When am I gonna get that? Next week, I promise. Okay, until I'm paid full, you don't get to ask me for anything you quit. Fine. So, Tess, where am I going? Had it not been for static female voice over GPS, feeding her turn by turn directions, Tess would have thought herself lost. She left the city limits before 15 minutes earlier, and now she's driving through a wooded wilderness that seemed impossibly isolated. It was beautiful though. Sometimes the road would end up into a vast treeless area, and it seemed as though the hills and valleys were heaving waves on a moonlit ocean. But just as quickly she would enter the trees once more, and the road would wind and turn this way until she was utterly confused. I should have left earlier, she murmured as she glanced at the clock. She'd hoped she'd arrive soon, otherwise she'd be late. It was already 6:15. She had no idea how much road still lay ahead. It wasn't Tess's only concern. She wondered if Kelly had bothered to follow through on her promise to call the family. What I said about their names. Oh yeah, the last name was Edwards. That was it. Catherine and Paul Edwards. The little girl's name was Lillian. Sounds pretty highbrow. She turned as she make it. It was as if on cue GPS instructed her to make a left turn on a metal gateway. The long lane was lined with trees and hanging lanterns. Tess marveled at the effect. It was both charming and strangely eerie, maybe because of the mist rolling off the lake nearby. Tess had no way of knowing. She was totally out of her element. She'd known there were enormous houses located on the outskirts of town. She'd never seen any of them. because the vast majority were locked away from curious onlookers in gated communities. The Edwards didn't live in one of those, but they were located so far away from the regular folks of Lake Harbor, and that they didn't themselves with trespassers. The only visitors encountered on a day-to-day basis were occasional raccoon or heron. The laneway wound around the wooded lot until slowly the house came into view by degrees. Even in the dark, its beauty was impossible to ignore. It was done in a modern Tudor style. It was with a series of pitched gables by stonework, beveled glass windows, and reflected the light of a series of lanterns lining the sidewalk, and the rich green ivy making its way up the stone surfaces seemed to twinkle in the moonlight. Everything was perfectly manicured and possibly neat indeed. Tess was so impressed by the house that even partially away from the letter interior long enough to make her way through the front door. She would have stayed in her car even longer, but the home's front door suddenly opened to reveal a man dressed in a tuxedo. Tess instinctively glanced at her car clock. It was 6:58. She was like, crap, I gotta get going. She hissed as she grabbed her purse and her car keys, but she all jogged up the front door. I'm so sorry, she began apologetically. I meant to get here on time, but the drive took longer than I thought it would. I hope you won't make it late on account of me. You're not Kelly. Tess stepped forward, movement suddenly she hadn't called that irresponsible, no good double crossing. Kelly had failed to follow through. Again, to be fair, she had stopped by Tess's house to drop off the $20, and thank heavens she had, otherwise Tess would have had no way to fill up her gas tank and drive out of the middle of nowhere. I needed, but the other part of the deal, Tess figured out, her friend must have decided it would be just all it just wouldn't be worth all the drama it would create. Better to just throw poor Tess into the lions than that's it, Kelly. Throw your friend into the fray face first. No. Tess looked away helplessly. She was ashamed, though she wasn't sure why. It wasn't as though she'd done anything wrong. What's the matter, Paul? A feminine voice called up from the inside. Is something wrong? It's not Kelly, he answered simply. It's some other girl. Well, who is she? Tess couldn't help but draw in her breath. Catherine Edwards was beautiful. It was pale pink, accented by thousands of tiny crystals that made her shimmer with every move she made. That dress is incredible, Miss Edwards. Thank you. Where's Kelly? For heaven's sake, dear, invite her in. Don't just leave the poor girl milling about the doorstep. Come in, why don't you? Tess moved past Paul Edwards, somewhat sheepishly. He was angry and confused, and Tess couldn't blame him. She'd arrived within minutes of being late. She wasn't the person they'd been expecting to watch their little girl. The three moved in the foyer as Paul closed the front door behind them. Now can you explain to me what the heck's going on here? He asked sharply. Where's Kelly? She was supposed to babysit for us tonight. Fuck! Stupid internet! Come clean. Do not lie for her. And Tess began nervously. Kelly asked me to cover her because she had something come up suddenly and she didn't want to leave you hanging. She told me she wanted to call you so you'd know to expect me. I don't know why she didn't. Well, if that isn't the most scatterbrained, irresponsible. He ranted, walking away from them angrily. Well, it wasn't totally irresponsible. At least she sent someone else to cover for her. Yeah, he huffed. Some girl we don't even know. We know nothing about her. You can bet your bound dollar I'll be calling Frank Collins about this. How do you know Kelly? We go to school together. We've known each other for years. Look, if you don't want me to stay and watch Lillian, I totally understand, and I wouldn't want some stranger watching my kid either. She asked, and she said something came up suddenly. Didn't she say what it was? Was it some family emergency? I hope everything's alright. I don't know. She didn't say. She just said she was in the gym and needed something to watch the little girl for her tonight. She's in a jam, alright. This had better be something serious, or so help. Paul, you're scaring the girl. She can't help what happened. Well, you be sure to tell Kelly we are not happy. I can't believe Frank's daughter would pull something like this. He's so reliable. You can practically sit a watch by him and know this. What do you want to do, honey? Do you want to go, or do you want to call Jack and tell him we're not coming? We are going to have to make a decision. Paul sighed audibly as he paced around the tight corner. He finally paused and rubbed the bridge of his nose vigorously with the thumb of his middle finger of one hand before turning to face his wife. What do you think? I think she seems nice. To be honest, of I kind of like her better than Kelly. She seems more mature. Paul looked Tess up and down, then also it was clear he agreed somewhat with his wife. Then he turned to face a nearby staircase. Lillian, come down and meet the sitter, baby girl. A little girl who had been sitting at the top of the stairs from the moment the three had walked inside, suddenly appeared on the steps. She was wearing a ruffled t-shirt and pink sweatpants, bearing the insignia of a cartoon princess. Her hair was fixed into a dark brown braid that hung in a single strand to a point between her shoulders. Honey, this is Tess. Tess, why don't you come and say hello? She moved down the stairs, cautiously unsure what to make of a new presence in the foyer. However, when she finally reached Tess, it was clear that she wasn't opposed to her. My name's Tess. I'm Lillian. You're very ladylike. Thank you. The two sat eye to eye for several moments before Lillian asked, "Do you want to play princess?" I don't know how to play princess, but it sounds like a lot of fun. Well, she seems to like you, all right. She doesn't let just anyone play princess with her. What do you think, Paul? Well, it's after 7. We're going to head out. We better do it. If we're going to head out, we better do it. I'm going to go and get the car. You shall test where we keep all the phone numbers and whatnot. Alright. Honey, you go upstairs for a minute. Tess will be up soon, okay? Okay. Tess followed Catherine into the living room, through the dining room, and walked in the kitchen. Wow, this house is really something. Thank you. It's been a labor of love. Paul's quite the collector. It's hard to find places for anything that catches his eye. Yeah, I noticed you have quite an art collection. It's really impressive. Well, Paul's got very out eclectic tastes. Catherine smirked. Sometimes we agree on what's pretty and sometimes we don't. I love several of the paintings in the back near the sunroom. You might want to check those out if you enjoy art or other pieces. She didn't think. Let's just say Paul's got rather avant-garde bust sculptures that are sure to catch your eye. Sounds exciting. It's less exciting than just playing, if you ask me, but that's my opinion. Are you ready? Just a minute. I'm almost finished. She returned before turning to Tess. I better hurry up. Okay, here are the emergency numbers. This is my cell phone, and this is Paul's. This here's the closest neighbor. They know we're gonna be at this benefit tonight. Mr. Walters said he and his wife will be home soon. So feel free to call him if you need someone right away. But the rest of these are just your standard emergency numbers. But I doubt you'll need them. It's pretty quiet out here. Yeah, you've got that right. Well, I'll be calling to check in with you about every 2 hours or so. It'll be probably close to 9:30 when we call the first time. We'll call again right before we leave. I can't imagine we'd be home any later than 12. Do you have any questions? Nope, not that I can think of. Well, if you think of anything, don't hesitate to call or text one of us. We'll have our phones on us all night. Thank you, Miss Edwards. Oh, call me Kathy. You two girls have fun tonight. Oh, and just so you know, Paul and I decided to engage the security system until we get home. That way, if you open the door or go out patio, for some reason you won't have to reset it. If that thing goes off, the whole police department will show up, and they, being none too happy they found out it was a false alarm. Got it. You and Mr. Edwards have fun tonight, okay? I'm sure Lillian and I will be fine. Good, we'll talk soon. A moment later, she disappeared down the adjoining hallway. Tess moved through the house slowly, taking it all in. She'd never been in a house like Edward's before. Oh, she'd had friends who considered themselves wealthy, of course. There were people like Tina Hall, power company. She always bragged about the fact she had 60 pairs of designer jeans and wouldn't wear anything except name brand hoodies. And there was Diane Howard, who always felt it necessary to mention her family's yearly skiing trips and her mom's lavish inheritance. But as Tess made her way through Paul and Catherine's home, it became immediately that both Tina and Diane were still planted firmly in the middle class, albeit at the high school and the things, however, the Edwards were something else together. They weren't just coasting on the edges of wealth, they were swimming in the deep end. I wonder what he does. Tess wondered aloud. Hanging over a marble fireplace, Kelly said he works with her dad, but Mr. Collins is just some middle management stiff. He doesn't even have good dental. Who are you talking to? A little voice asked. Tess looked up to see Lillian standing at the top of another staircase. There must have been several of them winding their way through a house that size. Tess mused silently. Myself? I do that sometimes. Are you coming up? Absolutely. She nodded. I believe we had plans to play princess, didn't we? Yeah. Lillian rejoiced happily as she disappeared down the long hallway toward her room. By 8:30, Lillian was fast asleep on a fainting couch in her bedroom. Tess smiled as she looked at the little girl. She still wore the princess Halloween costumes and sparkly crown she'd donned an hour before. Tess rose and carefully draped a blanket all over her before tiptoeing out of the room. Shutting off the lights, she closed the bedroom door only partially and left the hall light burning. She remembered her own childhood too vividly to risk plunging entirely upstairs into darkness. A moment she was making her way downstairs again. She wanted to explore the house a little further. She didn't want to snoop around Percy, but she was curious about the kind of life Paul and Catherine lived every day. She wondered what it would be like to live in a house like theirs, full of marble, glass, and priceless collectibles. She doubted she'd get the chance to explore such a house again. She figured she'd take advantage of the situation she could. Oh, Mr. Edwards has some pretty strange tastes, though, she muttered, and what she remembered was what Catherine said about the artwork hanging down in some room. She vowed to go check it out immediately. She wasn't exactly where sure she was going, but she figured the room in question was somewhere towards the back of the house. She moved along a hallway past a series of rooms before she arrived at an open den. She hit the lights casually. The ceiling rose almost to the roof. To one of the side On one side of the room, a wall decorated with various types of stones ended in a lavish fireplace. On the other, a wall of glass provided an open view of what must have been the backyard. Tess knew the sunroom must be nearby. She moved in this series of small steps into a curved room full of plants and small trees. When she came to another light switch, she flipped it, and the back patio area lit up off to the right. Tess could plainly see an enclosed area accented by canvas-covered armchairs, wicker furniture, and pastel artwork. Clearly this was a sunroom. Tess wasn't sure about the artist, but she had agreed with Miss Edwards. I guess rich people forget stuff too. There it is. I was starting to think Catherine was making it all up. Hello? Doing a little cardio in the room, are we? Catherine teased. Actually, I was just upstairs checking on Lily. She asleep? Yes. She nodded off an hour ago. Actually, good. Hope you don't mind. We were playing Princess and she fell asleep in her couch. I didn't want to wake her up. Well, that's fine. She loves that thing. I got it for her last Halloween. I don't know what she's gonna do when she outgrows it. So it sounds like everything's quiet. Yeah, I've actually been taking a little tour of the house since Lillian fell asleep. Checking out the artwork. And what do you think of Paul's collection? It's pretty up there, right? I actually like some of it. Like the picture of the girl flying the kite. That was pretty neat. I also like those pictures in the sunroom you're telling me about. The one with the lighthouse was great. Yeah, I picked those up on vacation one year. We were up in Maine, somewhere beautiful area. You should go if you get the chance. Some of your husband's stuff, though. Yeah. Paul's got some unique tastes. Like that clown statue that just gave me the creeps. Clown statue? Yes. It looks life size. It's about one of the room, but it's really silver thing. You mean the Yoshi? Must be something new. He was in Aspen a couple of weeks ago. Who knows? With him, it's hard to tell. You never know what'll catch his eye. Well, he probably should have left that one where he found it. Sounds like it. I'll be sure to check it out when I get home, she mused. Well, I'm gonna go get back to the benefit. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call me, alright? No worries. I'll see you when you get here. Have a good time. You too. Try not to let my husband's taste in are giving nightmares. I'll try. Hey Deb, I thought that was you. Oh yeah, I missed those things. I couldn't even if I wanted to. Anytime Randy gets the opportunity to sell somebody on another one of his business schemes, he's out of enforce. How about you? I'm here with the hubby. This is the first time we've been out anywhere together in over a month. You just get busy, yeah, no? Got a sitter, eh? Yeah. She seems really nice. The girl who was supposed to have come had to cancel at the last minute. And this other girl was kind enough to fill in for her. Thank God I don't know what we'd have done if she hadn't come. I'm amazed you could get anyone, especially out by you. I know. we're pretty far. Well, and all that business on the news this afternoon? What news? Oh, you know about the guy who got loose? The police are out in full force. They haven't caught him yet. I guess he's a real nut job. Who's on the loose? Who are you talking about? You haven't heard? Deb was clearly floored by this news. It's been all over the news. Some creep escaped from police custody earlier tonight. But do you think he's the same guy responsible for all those evasions up north? Remember all that? He'd break into people's houses and wait for them to fall asleep. He was obsessed with serial killers, I guess. Especially John Wayne Gracie. You've got to remember that business. John Wayne Gracie, which one was he? He killed a bunch of people back in the 70s and early 80s, I think. Nobody had ever suspected him. He'd go to a kid's birthdays, parties, and whatnot. She paused. He liked dressing up as some polo character, a real whack job. Yeah, I guess I kind of remember that now. And you see, this guy got loose today. That's what they said on the news. Outsmarted a couple of police officers and they escaped. No one knows where he is, but everyone seems to think he'll probably head into the woods to hide. That's why I say it's like you could get anyone to babysit. Well, that's good to know that, but I appreciate it. A few minutes later, Catherine made her way away from the beat. Somewhat shaken, she moved through the room, almost trance-like, not really seeing anything or anyone, but then her eyes met Paul suddenly, a series of seemingly unrelated threads became to converge her mind all at once. The tapestry they formed her left utterly unsettled. Paul immediately read the look of unease on his wife's features and excused himself abruptly before walking away from Walter Jarberg. What's wrong? Tess answered, didn't she? Yes. And everything's okay with Lillian's, isn't she? Yeah, she's asleep. Paul, did you buy any new sculptures when you were in Aspen? Paul seemed temporarily dumbfounded. Why would... What? Did you buy anything? She repeated, trying to keep her voice steady, desperately trying to keep panic at bay. No, why? Catherine, what's wrong? I didn't think anything about it when we were on the phone. I mean, you're always picking up new pieces. But then Tess was looking at your collection. She said she liked most of it, but there was this one piece, a statue she didn't like. She said it freaked her out. A clown. I didn't know what she was talking about. I knew you didn't used to have any statues like that, but I assumed you must have picked something up in Aspen when you were there last week. I didn't pick up anything in Aspen. I haven't even bought any sculptures in over a year. Then how on earth did that statue get here? Paul couldn't find his voice. He stood frozen, stared into Catherine's terrified eyes, reading her thoughts. Finally he spoke. Get your coat. Oh, Jesus. I know You guys don't want. Shit. Hold on. 1 minute. What the fuck? Okay. Hold on.